The Heist episode 1 was not so good. So, before I get started, consider this your spoiler warning because I will be talking spoilerish things. So, this is a Spanish movie or a Spanish series, better said. It's about obviously a heist. They're going to try to steal from the Central Bank of Spain, and they're trying to be like Robin Hoods, but towards the end of episode 1, we find out that the plan that they had to not kill anybody, because if you hurt someone, if you kill someone, they will no longer be looked at as Robin Hoods. They would be looked at as criminals, and that's exactly what happens. It goes wrong. They start shooting at the cops. So now all that stealing from the rich to give to the poor kind of goes out of the window. And at least that's what I think the plot is going to be throughout the whole series. And, there's going to be like these interwoven stories, that lead us to the overarching plot and the ending of this series. But I didn't like it. I thought the pacing was bad. I thought it had good acting, but it was way too much dragging on, too much setup. And for me being not and a lot of people might be, oh, it's because you don't like foreign films. No. Go back on my channel, you'll see I do reviews on foreign films, and if it's good, it's good. I'm not gonna put, I'm not gonna cap on nothing and be like, yeah, this was bad just because it's a foreign film and I don't like watching like lip syncing or lip movement that don't match the dialogue. I am okay with that because the dubbing, it is important. Don't get me wrong. The people that are dubbing for the Spanish actors need to do a good job in having that same emotion of when they're screaming or in pain or in heartache or anything like that. You have to be on your P's and Q's, or else you do lose some of that in the translation. And to be fair, you do have that here. There's a lot of actors on the American side, not visually. Visually, I think they did a great job. But on the dubbing, for us to listen to it, it's so underwhelming in a few points. And you're like, wow, they didn't do this movie, this series anyways, any justice by having these actors. And why greenlight it when they don't? You could see right off the bat that the emotion is in there. The emotion is kind of like, as far as, like I said, again, the American side, visually, what you're seeing on screen, it should be captivating. It should be like, oh my God, what's going on? But I just didn't see that. And I think this series, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's something else connected to this, but from what I watched, just episode 1, this feels like it should have been a movie, not a series. A series just means it's just way too long. And if it's already has pacing issues in the first episode, I could just imagine what episode 2, 3, 4, and so on and so on and so on are gonna feel like. They're gonna feel like you're just dragging off to something that you probably could have told us in 2 hours or 2.5 hours and condensed it. I would much rather sit there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and sit for what potentially could be almost 7 hours of this series. I don't know exactly what the episode is, but I don't really care because I won't be watching this. I won't be watching it past episode 1 because honestly, it didn't lend itself to. I was just like, I'm over it. I was so bored. I was looking at my phone. I wasn't keeping up with the story. It tried to be too clever for its own, way. It tried to be like Ocean's 11 without the Ocean's 11, if you will. And when some of the characters are just, they put like this mishmash of characters and you're supposed to like, oh my God, he's wild. Oh my God, she's really smart. The typical heist of it is always like a crazy dude, a lunatic, the smart one, the sexy one and all that stuff. But I could care less. There's been better movies that have done it. And I don't know if there's been any series that have dealt with this, but I just felt like this thing could have been a movie. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and been done with it instead of drawing it out, which I feel like this series done. Maybe I'm wrong. If you watched the entire series, let me know what you guys thought. Did you think that the pacing was an issue? Did you even finish it? Or did you just say, like me, I was like, I'm uninterested. It seemed interesting. It was trending on Netflix when I saw it, and I was like, hey, let me take a look at it. And by the first episode, I felt more tired than saying, yeah, let me go into the next one. Let me jump into the next review and let me check this out. So for me, this movie or series was a C, because I have to give the Spaniards their due. If I was a Spaniard and I just watched it with the natural dialect, with the natural acting and what it was intended to do, I think I would have probably enjoyed it a lot better. There's a lot of Spaniard movies that I've seen, and it's in the same kind of thread. So I'm a thread. So I'm assuming that action spy movies are a big thing in Spain, and this tries to capitalize on that. But the reason those work is because they're standalone movies, as opposed to a series that you're going to have to fill in 45 to 50 minutes to sometimes 60 minutes to fill in that time in backstory and setup, which, you know what, sometimes it works, not all the time. And for me, this was not it. And you guys might be thinking, wow, I rated other things a lot lower than this one, C. But yeah, I rated it a C because, again, take away the dub, if it was just visually and what they were presenting, I thought it was okay. When you add on the bad pacing and stuff, even if it was, the most I would have gave this was a C plus at the most. It wouldn't have crossed over to the B tier at all, but because it was just flawed in too many ways. And then you add the English dubs that were uninspired and really uncaptivating, hence the C rating. So anyways, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments, and like always, that's a wrap.